So let's talk a bit about your Adidon bio. So you said you grew up in the church. Um, you have I don't think you said this, but you grew up in an Asian American church, right?
I I did.
Can
Yes,
you
it's inferred.
share what that experience was like for you personally?
I'm not gonna name this particular church. Um,
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You've been
I
so
mean, I
vocal and
mean,
now you're so silent, but that's okay. That's okay.
amen, amen. I don't want to have any think about it this way. I'm gonna have some opinions about a church, but at the same time, no church is perfect. But and people
It's
should be
fine.
allowed. I guess I'm very opinionated, but I guess people should be allowed to have whatever opinion they want to hold. Um, so I started going to church close, or actually, I started going when I was really young. So I went for Chinese school though. I didn't go for church. I just went for Chinese school. Um, didn't pay much attention. Didn't really care. Um, then my parents were like, "Oh, we'll take him to a Buddhist one." Also, not a great idea because I also didn't pay attention. Just in the back playing on my phone or sleeping. And then my parents then gave me a choice around seventh grade. It's like you can either go to church or you can go to Chinese school. I'm like, sign me up. They give snacks at church. Love animal cookies. Um, so I was just like, you know what? This
So
is
wait, question.
yeah.
So why was it those two options? Why was it you could either go to church or you could go to Chinese school? They're like
My parents.
pretty different.
Well, I mean, my mom. I mean, she basically dragged me along one week. I didn't want to go. Honestly, I thought everybody at the church was judgmental and like really like hellfire brimstone type deal. Totally wrong when I got there. It was I felt like the stupidest person. Like I was just in there and then our youth pastor comes up and like our previous youth pastor comes up and just like, "Hey man, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, I was not expecting this." um, hey, you know what? We'll mention the church's name. It's fine. Um, I went to HCC growing up, Houston Chinese Church. Um, and so, anyway, my mom basically dragged me along one week. My brother's previous girlfriend, she's married now. Fun fact. It's they're not married. She's just married. uh, I mean, he went along with her, so it was just me, my mom, my brother, um, dragged me along, and so it's like threw me into youth groups. Like, here, develop good morals. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know. And she didn't want to go alone, so I was like, fine, it's okay. Um, so I decided to go, went, and really enjoyed it. I was not expecting it. It kind of caught me off guard how nice everybody was and how like welcoming people were at first. Um, but along with every church, there is an interesting dynamic that comes along with it. I was, of course, this is seventh grade me, so I'm way louder than I already am now. I know that's hard to imagine. I know, crazy, absolute riveting. I know it's mind blowing. I know, and probably more obnoxious. Oh no, not probably, and more obnoxious than I am today. So, um, decided to come back because I did not want to spend the rest of my good years, my childhood years as um, just learning Chinese. I was like, this is stupid. Um, and I found a social group that wasn't toxic, I guess. middle school and high school weren't the best years for me, um, but we'll get to that. So decided to came back, got free snacks, didn't really pay attention much. I know this is so terrible. I feel so bad. Oh God, this is terrible. But you know, it that's how it was for the majority of my middle school years. And then coming into high school, um, youth group kind of got lonely. A lot of people dropped out because they had, debate on weekends. They had other extracurriculars, and like I'd be like one of like three boys at youth group. I'm like, oh, this is great, I guess. Um, the majority there was like 8 girls and like 2 guys. I was the only one who came consistently, so I was like one guy and 8 girls. And you must be thinking like, wow, lucky guy. I'm like, no, no, they paid me no attention. I'm sorry, I'm ranting. But that's how the youth group dynamic was. And for a long time, I was pretty, like, I guess, low-key kind of lonely in youth group. Because all my, I guess, friends left. And then summer of my sophomore year, like going into junior year of high school, one of my best friends came along, and we basically became best friends because we were the only 2 dudes at youth group. At least in our class, in our class of 2017. So that was basically what it was, and we looked out for each other, we cared for each other. We talked mesh too. Oh my goodness. But it was a lot of fun. That was the first sort of development of accountability that I had, because most of the other people who were my accountability partners were like 25, 27 and older, which isn't that, I mean, it's good. It's a start, but I mean, it's not great because you're in 2 different life stages, and they might not be living it through like you are. The same, like they might not be living through the same struggle that you are. It's more of a past thing. So senior year, like I would go to camp, of course, every year. Just how I
What is
met you.
camp?
Camp, yes, Impact and Decamp. It is a church camp hosted by HCC and all the other CCs in the greater Houston area, which was fun. It was a great time. And I was continually building up knowledge of the gospel, continually, trying to, I guess, find Christ at camp, but only to come back to regular life to find myself disappointed. I miss camp days. Camp days are great, but then again, camp isn't real life. So I basically, at the end of my senior year, decided to take Christianity seriously, decided to make a commitment towards the church that I grew up in. We'll put asterisks around that. And decided that, it's about time that I take Christianity seriously and stop playing the game. For the most part of my high school and even middle school life, it was mainly trying to use the church as a means of a social aspect instead of what it's really meant to do, which is to basically find the Lord there. And I continue and this is actually something that I continue to struggle with, which is like balancing the community and fellowship aspect with the actual, or like the emphasis on the community and emphasis on fellowship with the emphasis on developing the church, growing the kingdom, that sort of thing. So basically, that is my experience growing up. I know we did a quick turn, but
Yeah. I think just to not first question, whatever. But was
not really going
there?
in order.
It's fine. Was there any tensions like with you internally or with you and your family with all this religious stuff, or was there any like dissociation between it?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Um, my mom, um, my parents were quite supportive. They didn't, they were a little worried about like how much time that I spent, but at the same time, if you're the one who brings me in it, you can't really say anything.
Yeah.
um, so no, I think, of course, my dad he's atheist. Or is he agnostic? I guess he's agnostic. He's like keep an open mind. Like you can believe in God, but keep an open mind. So I was just like, all right. Um, but to this day, I haven't been proven like I guess I haven't been proven wrong or proven otherwise. So, but they've always been supportive. Before I had a car, they'd be the ones driving me to most of the church functions, most of the events, planned events. So they would always be the ones taking me to youth group on Fridays and Sunday, like Sunday school as well as service. So I can't say like, I mean, to be honest, they've been extremely supportive, or as supportive as you can be.
Cool. So, what about your mom now? Because I know you mentioned that she was going first and she kind of brought you along.
I'm
If
the
you're
only
if you're
one that goes.
comfortable. Okay.
Uh, I'm the only one who goes consistently. Let's just say that. I've been trying to get everybody to come, but you know, weekends are um, sort of a rest and relax. Like they're basically for R&R, rest and relax. So sometimes it's kind of hard to get them to come along when all they want to do is just like decompress. So it's understandable, but at the same time, you kind of wish they did come.
Yeah. I don't
How
know how
about your
much more.
parents?
What about what about them?
Do they
Because
come as well?
yeah, they they went to the church. I mean, before I was born, that's how they met. That's how they
Yeah,
got married.
missionary
Um,
dating.
no, they were
No.
both attending the church.
Oh, okay,
They
okay.
were like the young adults of
Oh,
like
okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
not missionary dating. No, no.
Big brains out here, bro.
I question that, but okay. That's okay.